Jesus replied, "Love the Lord your God with all your heart, with all your soul, and with all your mind. And the second is like it, love your neighbor as yourself. On all the law and the prophets hang on these two commandments." Jesus is boiling down the entirety of the moral law of God that was given to Moses. He's boiling it all down to two simple commandments. Jesus first is drawing from what is known as the Shema, which is a prayer of confession and declaration by Israel. It was actually kind of like Israel's national anthem, which is found in Deuteronomy chapter 6, verse 4 and 5. "Hear, O Israel, the Lord our God, the Lord is one. Love the Lord your God with all your heart, with all your soul, with all your strength." So Jesus grabs the Shema and says basically the first four commandments are all boiled down to this one commandment: to love the Lord your God. "You shall not have no other gods before me. You shall not create an idol. You shall not take my name in vain." All those things can be reduced down to loving the Lord your God with all your heart. And then Jesus draws from a different place. He draws from Leviticus chapter 19 for the second part of that greatest commandment. And it's interesting, in Leviticus chapter 19, as I was reading through this, 15 times in this chapter, God gives them an instruction on how they're to live, and then he repeats this phrase each time. 15 times he says, "I am the Lord. I am the Lord." So backing up in verse 16, he says, "Do not go about spreading slander among your people. Do not do anything that endangers your neighbor's life. I am the Lord. Do not hate your fellow Israelite in your heart. Rebuke your neighbor frankly so that you do not share in their guilt. Do not seek revenge or bear a grudge against anyone among your people, but love your neighbor as yourself. I am the Lord." The stamp of God's authority upon these instructions. But Jesus draws from these two different places and says, listen, it all boils down to this. Really, the first four commandments boil down to love the Lord your God with all your heart. The rest of them, do not steal, do not murder, do not commit adultery, do not have covetousness, all comes down to love your neighbor as yourself. So Jesus is the one who's binding love and the law together and giving us the essence of all the commandments, which is relationship. Love God supremely. Our relationship vertically to God. Love others sincerely. That's our horizontal loving of one another.